Hi all, welcome to beginner series of Workato. Today we'll learn about recipe versions, compare recipe changes, exporting packages and importing packages. Before we discuss about today's session, let's recap on our previous session. We learned about what is recipes, triggers, actions, and we ended our session with a quiz. Please kindly click on the I button at the top of our video to check out our previous session. Let's talk about today's session points in a practical way. For that, let me log into my workspace. Here we go. So once you log into your workspace, click on any of the recipe that you have built in your previous session. So our first point is the recipe versions. For that, click on the versions. So there are 22 versions got created for this recipe. So the point here is that every time a recipe got saved, the new version gets created for your recipe. Let me show you that. So here again what I'll do is I'll add 2 times messages just to show you a demo. So just save it. Now go back to version tab. So see, there's a 23rd versions got created for your recipe as you have made changes in your recipe. And the second point is we can restore our previous versions of recipe at any point of time. So suppose I want to restore 22nd versions because as we are duplicated the message in a logger, so there is no any point of saving it again, right? So go back and just click on the 22nd version and click on restore this version. See, now in the first step, the another message which I've added from the same step got deleted, means it's went back to the 22nd version. Okay, our second point here is the second concept is compare recipe changes. For that, again you have to go to version tab, click on any of the versions which you want to compare with. Now I want to compare the 20th version to my current version. Okay, now here you can see there are few steps got added as it's showing in the with a plus symbol, and few steps got deleted which shows in the minus symbol. And okay, there's not much changes in this particular versions comparing from 20th to 24. Let me click on the say 8th version. So here there are a lot of changes when we comparing from version 8 to version 24. There are got changes of update config, which is scheduled day got changed from Friday to Wednesday, and few steps got added from 2nd, 4th and 5th step. So there are nested update config. Here you can see, because the nested is nothing but it's inside the for each loop. Because of that, it's showing nested update config. Nested is nothing but it's inside the for each. Here you can see there are one more steps got added in the version 24, whereas it's not present in the version 8. So this is about comparing the recipe changes. Our third concept is exporting packages. The exporting packages allows developers or a user to create distributable file that contains related packages and their dependencies. The main point here is the exporting packages will help you in deployment process. from one environment to another environment. Here, the point here is the how we can export our packages, the projects which you want to deploy to a next environment. Okay, there are two ways of you can deploy your projects into a higher environment. So the first point here is go to our tools, or one way of doing that is click on the tools and click on the recipe lifecycle management. Click on the create a new manifest file. Just say Workato playlist. Playlist. So select a folder from which you want to export it. Select it. So just click on this. So here you can see default it's got selected all the packages or all the items inside the Workato playlist. So next click on the create manifest. Just build it and export packages. So you can see here the zip file is now ready to download. Now I'll just click on the download. Let's get downloaded to my local workspace. From there you can select the packages which is got downloaded into workspace and upload into your any of the repository, that is SVN or maybe a Git repository. From there you can connect it to your CI/CD pipeline to deploy your packages to a higher environment. The other way of doing a deployment here is go back to your projects, click on the Workato playlist. There, the second option you can see is deployment, right? So click on the deploy projects. One is you have a target environment is test environment and a production environment. Here I'll click on the test environment. The point to be remembered here is we cannot deploy any of our projects from test environment to production environment. There is no any connections or a option to deploy your test environment projects to production environment. The only way you can do a deployment is from development environment. So development environment to test environment and development environment to production environment. Because the whatever you want to change, you will be doing it in the development environment, not in the test environment, right? So whatever you do in the development environment, you will be going to push that into a test environment. So once a sign-off comes from the test environment, that means whatever you made changes in the development environment, that is success. So the same package you can deploy into a production environment. For now, I choose test environment to deploy my development environment packages. So click on the next button. So here you can see either you can choose deployment type as deploy enter project or a customized deployment. Always click on choose or customized deployment. There you can choose the required packages or required items to be deployed to your next environment or higher environment. So there in the previous option, there is no any option you can customize your thing to unselect any of the unwanted items to be there, right? So here you can select unwanted things can be excluded, go into a higher environment. So there is no any kind of unwanted list or unwanted items to be excluded from my packages. So now I'll go for next. So here you can see. So go for deployment. It's got deployed to our test environment. So here you can see it's got deployed, right? So let me go to recipes. So here you can see the welcome page, right? This is how you can deploy your projects to your environment. Our fourth and final concept is importing packages. For that, click on the again tools, go for a recipe lifecycle management, click on the import tab and go for import packages. Okay, I'll just click on the upload from my local workspace. I'll select any of my zip packages which are already I downloaded from the my workspace. Just click on that and select the destination folder where you want to upload this. Just click on next. So here you can see the recipe and the connections gets created to your workspace, the destination folder. The manifest contains these 3 connections and 2 recipes. Okay, so 2 recipes, why? Because there is a one more function call which is they added in the connections tab, right? Okay, these are two recipes and 3 connections. Go for a finish. See, the package got imported to your workspace. Just click on finish. Now go back to your project tab. I'll just click on the tab, Workato playlist tab or a folder. So you can see the one of the whatever the package we have imported from our local workspace got created here, the recipe 1, and in the connection tab we have one more function call, that is 2 recipes, 3 connections. So the connections where you have established previously in your any of your workspace or any of your environment, those connections will be disconnected and you have to reconnect it by manually by giving your credentials or authorizations code, anything you can choose it and get connected. There is no any of your connection will get carried to your next environment. This ends our session. Now we'll go back to our quiz part. Here we go. The quiz time. The first question is, a dash is a record of all selected recipes and their dependencies, such as application connections, lookup tables, and account properties. Any guesses? Okay, let me give you the answer. It is manifest. So the manifest contains your packages. It's kind of zip file which contains all your recipes, dependencies, connections, lookup tables, account properties, everything. Okay. The second question is, the exported dash includes all the selected recipes and their dependencies needed for automation to work. Okay, any guesses? Okay, let me give the answer. It is packages. So the packages which you make up, it's kind of maybe packages or maybe you can say like zip folder which contains recipes and their dependencies as well. Okay, let me go for next question. It is third question. That is true or false option you have to select. The exported zips include credentials for security reason. Is it true or false? Okay, let me give you the answer. It's false. Exported zip will not include the credentials. Okay. You have done a very good job. You have learned in this session about recipe versions, comparing the recipe changes, exporting packages, and importing packages. We'll meet you in the next session. Until then, keep learning. Thank you.